going on, guys? Welcome back to another podcast here on the channel. Now, this podcast is going to be episode number 2. That's right, a second podcast. I'm continuing on with things. I know that sometimes I do one episode and then just let it die on my channel with like 2 views. But I'm going to keep going with this because I am a fan of podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts, actually. And I want to do this. I want to be a podcaster. I want to have the title next to my name, podcaster. So we're going to do this. And last episode number 1 of the podcast, we talked about the state of NCAA football. We talked about the playoffs, the college football playoffs. We talked about how Wisconsin was a decent team, how Ohio State was the best team in all of college football, how I hate Michigan. We talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about the whole top 25, actually. So go back and watch that if you did enjoy that. I appreciate it because I took a lot of time to edit that. Well, not edit it, but I put music in the front and the back, so I edited a little bit. This is probably the only thing that I will edit. I don't edit my videos, but I do edit the podcast because I want it to sound as good as possible because it's just my voice. So that's why I want it to be as good as possible. So enough recapping of what's going on. Thank you guys for stopping by. Let's get into episode number 2. It is going to be all about video games. That's right, a whole 180 from college football. We are going to be talking about video games, and we can stretch it from like consoles. What's my favorite console of all time, even, or what's my favorite video game of all time, or what am I currently playing right now? We can talk about anything. So I think I'm going to start off with consoles because I just saw that Microsoft and Xbox dropped their new design for the Xbox, the next generation of Xbox consoles, and it looks like a big tall rectangle is basically what it is. It's so weird. Like, it looks like a small PC not monitor, but a small PC. It's just like crazy. It's just like a slick black tall cylinder if you guys haven't seen it. And I'm sure they'll have a white version at some point because they usually do the black version and the white version because they're racist. No, I'm just kidding. No, don't say that. No, take that out. No, they're not racist. But I mean, like, I like it. I'm not an Xbox fan. I'm more of a PlayStation guy. I've been a PlayStation guy ever since I've played video games. I've had a PS1, 2, 3, and 4. So, and I'll probably have a 5 when it comes out. But, I mean, I want to get into Xbox consoles. I've been meaning to do it. I thought I was going to do it with the 360, but I never really decided to spend the money and get it. But now, I didn't have the money because I didn't have a job. But now that I have a job, I feel like I'm going to get into Xbox gaming with this new console at some point. Like maybe 5 years down the road after it's already been out for a couple of years and it's already had its updates and it's like down in price a little bit because it's going to be expensive. And at this point, I would have already spent the money on the PS5 because that's the console I play on. So I don't know. I've been talking about getting an Xbox for a while. I just never done it. And I think this is going to be the time. This generation will be the time that I get an Xbox. I don't know what it is. I just never got into it. Like, the controller felt weird to me. I have played Xbox. Don't get me wrong. I have played it. It's a good game. Like a good gaming system is what I meant to say. But the controller was weird to me, most probably because I was coming from a PS4 controller, which is like the 2 analog sticks are right next to each other, when the Xbox is like diagonal of each other. Like one's up in the air, or like one's up on the top and one's down in the bottom. It's super weird, and it just didn't feel comfortable. But I have played it a couple of times. I've played Halo. I've played, I think I played GTA on the Xbox, and I played Call of Duty on the Xbox. I forget which Call of Duty it was. I think it was Black Ops 2, but that doesn't matter. I just don't. I want to get into it. I do, but PlayStation is just what I have, and it's what I always will have. I will always be a PlayStation guy, and I want to be an Xbox guy. So I think becoming an Xbox guy will not becoming an Xbox guy. Having an Xbox will be Xbox, whatever they call this one. I forget what they called it, but the next generation of Xboxes, and that would be good for my YouTube channel. I mean, having the opportunity and the ability to play Xbox games on my channel besides PlayStation games would be phenomenal. Like there's some Xbox exclusive games that I would like to play, like Forza New Horizons or whatever that game is called, or just the Forza series in general. I would love to play that on the channel, or just in general. Like I'd love to play that game, but it's just an Xbox exclusive, so I can't play it. And I think there's some other ones that I would like to have and have played, like Halo. I would love to play Halo all the time, but I can't because I don't have an Xbox. So I think I'm gonna get one at some point. I just don't know when. But on the other hand, PlayStation will always have my attention because it's what I grew up on and it's what I will always play. It'll be my number one console, my main console, and it'll be number one for me. Just I don't know your guys' opinion on it. You guys can leave comments down below what your opinion on is, if you're an Xbox guy or if you're a PlayStation guy or girl. I don't discriminate. I'm not Xbox. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I can't help it. But you guys can leave it in the comment section down below what console you guys are on, or a PC. I wouldn't be opposed to be a PC guy either. I want to get a gaming PC. I just can't afford one. Even with my job, I can't afford one. So at some point I want to be a PC guy, or at least have one, but not right now. So I'm going to stick to just consoles at the moment. Moving on to favorite video game of all time. Now, if you guys know me, I am a sports guy. I like watching all the sports. I like playing all the sports, both IRL and in video games. And I'm a sports guy through and through. So I think my favorite video game, maybe I should do it by category. My favorite sports video game of all time would have to be Madden 2005. That game was my childhood. Now, some people say Madden 2004 was better. And yes, Madden 2004 was good because Michael Vick was a literal cheat code. You could not tackle that man. But like Madden 2005, the soundtrack was phenomenal. It was fire. The gameplay was unbelievable for its time. The rosters were fantastic. The commentating was great. I mean, it was good as a Madden game, Madden commentating could ever get. But just the game in general was just unbelievable. It was my favorite game. It was the one game that I actually looked forward to playing back then. And it's just like I really had a good time playing. I pumped a lot of hours into Madden 2005. That is for sure. I even play it now. Like I haven't played it in a year or two maybe, but like recently, like while I've been a teenager and into my 20s, which I'm only 20, I have played Madden 2005 because that's how much I love it. That's probably my favorite, definitely my favorite Madden game, but probably my favorite sports game of all time. I mean, I am a fan of NBA Live 2005. That was probably my favorite NBA game that I've ever played. But I pumped a lot of hours into NBA Live 2005, that is for sure. And just the catchphrase, like, NBA Live 2005, that song that they had in that game was absolutely amazing. I love that thing. So those two games, 2005 in general, was just a good year for video games for me. Like, it's probably my favorite year of sports video games. Madden 05, NBA Live 05. I mean, and even the college basketball game they had, 2K5, I think is what they called it. Whatever it was, that was even a decent game. It wasn't my favorite game of all time, but still a good game. And then favorite RPG game, I guess. I don't know. How should I do these categories? Like, do we go with favorite shooting game or favorite game in general other than a sports game? I don't know. You guys can let me know down in the comment section below if you guys have an idea of what your favorite video game is or what your favorite sports game. It could be the same as me, or it could be completely different. That's all right because we're not the same person. That'd be weird if it was the same video game as me. But I think my favorite, I do like Call of Duty Ghost. Call of Duty Ghost strictly for the memories that I have playing it with my brother are probably the my favorite Call of Duty game and favorite shooting like RPG game of all time. Just based on like us sitting split screen in the room playing Call of Duty. It's just like not screen peeking, but screen peeking at the same time, seeing where each other were playing like team domination against each other, playing gun game, playing capture the flag, playing all the stuff. Like that game had so many good memories with it. It's probably the best game to do that kind of stuff, just in my opinion. Like Modern Warfare 2 is very good. Like Modern Warfare 2 is probably right there as second. I don't know if I would bump it to first just because it doesn't have the same memories. Like it does have the same memories because we played it around the same time. But like Call of Duty Ghost, man, it's got that something different for me at least. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'm a fan of Call of Duty Ghosts and a fan of Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 3 on the other hand, not much of a fan of like multiplayer wise. The story was good. I like the story. It continued and ended the Modern Warfare franchise, though we thought until just recently when they released Modern Warfare, the new one, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, that just dropped earlier this year. And I have played that. I have not finished the story of the new Modern Warfare game, so don't knock me for that. Don't judge me. I also have not played any of the multiplayer, even though I heard that was not very good. This year's multiplayer was not good. I don't know why, but I guess I'll find out when I eventually play it. I probably want to play it on stream sometime because that's what I was going to do with the Fortnite stream I did a couple of days ago, but they had just dropped that Star Wars live event that happened, and I want to get a little bit of reaction. And that stream's turning out to be very good because at the moment it has 34 views on that stream, so that is pretty good. That's one of my highest rated streams in a long time, mostly because I haven't streamed in a while. But going back to the Call of Duty stuff, I am a fan of the new Modern Warfare. Like the story is very compelling and it's very good, and the character design, the backstories they have are all very good, and I'm hooked on the story. I just haven't played it. I haven't had time really. I've been pumping out videos for YouTube. I've been doing this podcast. I have been working at my job, so I just haven't had time to play the campaign missions and play the story. When I have been playing, I haven't been playing Call of Duty. I've been playing Madden, and I've been playing 2K, and I've been playing Fortnite. So, I mean, I just haven't had the time. I don't have enough time in my day to play all the games that I want to play. I still have a bunch of games that on my PlayStation that I have downloaded and are taking up space on there that I haven't even touched. I haven't even opened yet because I just haven't had time to do it. So, I definitely down the road want to get to that point where I have enough time where I can play all these games, even if I'm just playing for fun, like not recording or doing anything for YouTube. I just want to play it, but I just haven't had the time yet. So enough rambling on about that stuff and about my sob story. Getting back to the game as a whole, the Call of Duty franchise as a whole is probably top 3 best series that I've played, mostly because of the longevity. Like from the Modern Warfare stuff to the Black Ops stuff to now the new Modern Warfare, like that, and all the stuff in between, except for Advanced Warfare. That game was trash. But all the other stuff, all the other Call of Duty games in between those games and like throughout the franchise, it's just so good. Like I love every campaign of all those Call of Duty games. They were so good. They were so compelling. They were like on the edge of your seat. just the twists and the turns. You never knew what was going to happen. There was a bunch of shocking twists and stuff. I loved it. So that's probably my favorite franchise of video games of all time, would be the Call of Duty series. Now you guys can fight me on it. I will argue that it is the best franchise of all time. You guys can tell me what your favorite franchise is of all time. It may be different. It may have completely different ideas. Like, you guys can have your opinion, I got mine, and we can argue about it. That's what's great about life. We can have our own opinions and we can argue about it until the cows come home, because that's what we do. Now, I will allow you guys to like change my mind. You guys can attempt to change my mind on different franchises and tell me which one's better than Call of Duty, because I'm sure you guys have your opinions on which one's better. It's just mine. Mine is not like steadfast. I'm not like, my mind will not be changed. Like, I'm not that person. Like, I can change my mind if you guys give a compelling argument of like, oh, the, I don't know, Far Cry series is better, or which I like the Far Cry series, or Fallout is better as a franchise than Call of Duty. Like, you guys can pick any franchise or whatever your favorite is, and you guys can try and give me an argument, and I'll listen. I'll definitely take it in consideration if you guys give me a compelling argument. But speaking of Far Cry, the Far Cry series is also one of my favorites. I didn't get into Far Cry until I was probably about 16, maybe 15, but I like Far Cry. It is a good game. All the games. I've only played 3, 4, and 5. And then I haven't played the new one that they released. I don't know why. I just haven't played it. I never bought it. But 4 is my favorite Far Cry game. I know 3 is really good because the villain is like one of the best video game villains of all time. But 4 was the first one that I played. Like, that's how I got into the Far Cry series, was Far Cry 4. And it was a great game. It still is a great game. I still play it sometimes. And I don't know if I would ever bring it to YouTube as like a throwback series. That's actually a good idea. Doing a throwback series of old video games that nobody plays anymore. And Far Cry Primal. Oh, I forgot about Far Cry Primal. That was a good game too. You could get your own like weird animal. Like I think I had a saber-toothed tiger as my animal that was following me around and stuff. And you had like bows and arrows and a bunch of crap like that, and you could take down elephants and stuff. It was awesome. That was a good game too. But Far Cry 4 definitely for me was the game that I remember. Far Cry 5 didn't really have the same staying power in my gaming life as Far Cry 4 did. I mean, I still played it. I still enjoyed it. I didn't finish it yet. I didn't even finish Far Cry 4, I don't think. But I just got distracted. It's so open world that you just get distracted by so much stuff. There's so much stuff to do in Far Cry games because it's so open world that like you just get lost in it and you can't finish the story. Like, it's just stuff that you do and you forget about what you're doing, what the main goal is, like finishing the story. So I still have to go back and finish the Far Cry 4 story missions. I think the reason I stopped it was because there was like a hard mission that I couldn't complete and I just rage quit. That sounds about right. That sounds like something I would do, is just rage quit on a game. But I think for the main Far Cry series, Far Cry 4 was my game. Like, it was probably number one. If I had to rank it, it would probably be Far Cry 4 at number one. Far Cry Primal would probably be number 2, then Far Cry 3, then 5 would probably be how I rank those ones. I haven't played Far Cry 2 or Far Cry 1 or any of the other Far Cry games. Those are the only ones I've played, so that's all I can rank, to be fair at least. And I think Far Cry 4 is a better game. It's got a good story. It's got good like mobile transportation. I couldn't say the word for a second. Mobile transportation, like you can drive all the cars. You can fly in that weird aircraft helicopter thing that you built and stuff. It was like unbelievable how good it was, and like all the hunting stuff and the story missions and the people that were in the world, like just roaming around. They were funny, getting attacked by animals and stuff, and Yeah, and I think I ran into this one guy who was just like sitting next to his car that had broke down, and he got attacked by a rhino. It just like came out of nowhere and smashed his car, and he went flying through a tree. It was hilarious. I kind of sucks that I didn't get it on camera, but that was before I started doing YouTube, I think. And yeah, so Far Cry is another one of my favorite video game franchises. Going back to sports, MLB The Show. I know this is a controversial one because not many people like baseball because they think it's boring. And yeah, it's boring. But baseball has a special place in my heart because it is like it's so universal. Like you can pick up a baseball game. You can watch any baseball game at any time. Like baseball is on every day of the year. Not every day of the year. Baseball is on every day during the season. Like there's never a day where there's no baseball on, unless it's like a national holiday or something and everybody's off. There's rarely ever a day that there's no baseball on at any point in the day. It's just so good. And like you can watch, like you can have it on like this podcast. You could have baseball on in the background while you're doing homework or while you're taking a shower. I don't know. You can have it on in the background doing anything. You don't have to keep your attention to it unless you really want to. That's the beauty about baseball. And so for me, the MLB franchise is another one of those that is like right up there with one of my favorites of all time. And yeah, I know that only about probably 50% of the population have played it because it's a PlayStation exclusive, but it's a good series. It just keeps getting better. They keep adding new like features to it. They keep updating it. They definitely do a good job with updating. Yes, I know that they do a lot more with their Diamond Dynasty because that's what their money is made from, because it's just like any sports game with their ultimate teams and their diamond dynasties and all the stuff where you have to pay to buy packs and stuff. That's where all the money is made in sports games, and they kind of that is one of the knocks that I have on sports games is the microtransactions. Like EA is the worst at microtransaction. Well, I should say they're the best at microtransaction because they're the worst, because they make you buy all the stuff that you need in the game to like be good at the game, like get all the best cards and get all the best players and stuff. Like you have to actually pay money for that stuff, and that is the knock that a lot of people have, and that's what turns a lot of people away from EA and from sports games in general. And like I know that some people are like fringe sports fans that if they hear the name, they're like they hear the company EA, they're gonna like turn away because they already were like on the fence of buying a sports game, but then they hear that EA made it and they're like, oh no, I don't want that because they got microtransactions. They're gonna make me buy everything, and so they just turn away and they don't play it. But that never deterred me, mostly because I don't play the online modes. Like I don't play Ultimate Team very much. I set it up every year thinking that I'm gonna play it, but then I never do. I think in Madden 20 I'm like level 3 in my MUT rating, so I don't play MUT. I don't play NBA. I don't play Ultimate Team in NBA. I don't play Diamond Dynasty. It just never appealed to me. Like I don't. Well, probably because when I wanted to play it, my Wi-Fi wasn't good enough to support it, so I could never like play against online people, and I never had a microphone, so I couldn't talk to them, and so that's probably why it turned me off to start, and then I just kept going. Like I haven't played, a game of MUT online in like 2 years, and so it's just like it never appealed to me. I'm more of a franchise mode guy and a career mode kind of guy, and in baseball a franchise mode kind of guy. So I don't know what it is, but that's just what appeals to me because it's your thing. Like you can control everything that goes on in that career mode. And yes, I know the career mode community in all sports games, FIFA, Madden, MLB, 2K, all the FIFA all the career modes communities have their knocks on the game, because mostly I have noticed that it's a lot of EA. EA has had a lot of knocks on all their games because they have Madden and they have 2K. No, they don't have 2K. They have Madden and they have FIFA. And that's mostly where the community that I listen to and what I read about is coming from. And most of the knocks are that they don't update their career modes, they don't update their franchise modes, because that's not where the money is made. The money is made in Ultimate Teams. And so that is why they update that stuff. They put a lot of time into their Ultimate Teams, and it's kind of upsetting because like a lot of their money from buying the game in general are for people who are going to play the career modes and who are going to play the franchise modes. Like, put some effort into that. Like, update it so that there's not bugs in the launch date games. Like, we don't want bugs in our games. We don't want like old 4-year stale modes in our career modes that and features that have been in there for a long time that we just like have told you that we don't want anymore, and yet you don't do anything about it. Like, that is upsetting to a lot of people, especially me. Like, that is upsetting to people who only play those modes, especially for people like me who are YouTubers who put that stuff on their channel. And it's just like I put up a video a couple months ago entitled EA Fix Your Broken Game, because I was playing my Chicago Bears Legends Fantasy Draft Series, shameless plug, and I was doing off-season trading, I think it was when I was doing the off-camera, on-camera trading stuff, like what I do, where I don't really talk much. It's not like a full video, but I was trading for something, and it was a couple of seasons in. I think it was like season 5 or season 4 or something, and the salary it was like glitched out. It wouldn't work. So I couldn't trade anybody. Even if I released somebody like that made a lot of money, it wouldn't make up. It would go up. Like my negative money would go up, even though I released somebody, which means it should go down. But it just frustrated me. I couldn't trade for anybody. So I eventually had to turn salary cap off, and that seemed to have worked out because I'm now in season 9. So, well, I'm going to be in season 9 not by the time this video is out or this podcast is out, but I will be in season 9 shortly. And it seems to have worked out for me, which is good, because I didn't want to end that series. This is one of my most fun series that I've done on YouTube in a long time, maybe even ever. And so I want to keep it going. And that could have been a potential back-breaking series-ending thing that happened. Luckily, I found a way around it. But it's just things like that EA needs to. It's simple things like that. And like I've seen glitches where, I don't know, people are playing a game and all of a sudden like the offensive line will teleport to the end zone and they'll get like sacked for a lot of yards, lost a lot of yards and stuff. It's just stupid things like that. Simple things you can fix, that a company like EA can fix, that is just frustrating and upsetting that they haven't fixed. Like, I don't know why they haven't done it yet, but they haven't. It's just, I don't know what they're doing over there in EA. They're a $1 billion company, and they just can't fix the simple things. I don't know if it's because they don't care, or it's because they are just not smart enough and they don't want to do that because they think that it'll take away from their Ultimate Team stuff where they make all their money. And I get that. I totally respect that. Like, if you want to get your money, but at least do a little bit. Don't just neglect the other 50% of the population who play just the career modes and the franchise modes. Like, we matter too. We buy your game. Like, if you want to knock it down 50% to just the people who buy it for their Ultimate Team and stuff, then you go ahead and do that. Like, that's fine. I will stop playing those games if you want to neglect me like that. But go ahead and do that. Like, I will stop playing, but I don't want to stop playing because I like those sports games. I'm a sports guy. Like I said in the beginning of this podcast, I'm a sports guy. I want to play these video games. I want to play Madden. I want to play 2K. I want to play FIFA. But it's just so hard. 2K not as much, but mainly Madden and FIFA. I want to play those games, but they just neglect the franchise modes so much. It's just so hard to play them. Now, for me personally, I haven't had as many issues with that stuff. The salary cap thing was probably the biggest one I've had in a while, but I haven't had as many of those issues. I've seen a lot of people comment and make YouTube videos and make just like posts on Twitter and stuff about EA, complaining about them, and they've had a lot more problems than I have. But I mean, like, that shouldn't happen. We shouldn't have to go on Reddit, and we shouldn't have to go on like Operation Sports and all this stuff and create posts about complaining about YouTube, or not complaining about YouTube, complaining about EA. And we shouldn't have to make YouTube videos, and we shouldn't have to make fan groups or hate groups, I guess you could say, about these games, because it should be fixed. If you're $1 billion company, you should be able to fix these games. It should not be this hard. You have the ability, you have the resources to fix these games. So I don't know why they haven't. It could just be it just could be because they're idiots or something. I don't know. But they need to fix them, because sooner or later, the fans and the communities are going to get tired, and they're going to get worn out with all this same recycled crap that EA puts in each of their games, and they're going to stop buying them. And then maybe that's the way that it'll hit them in the face, because they'll lose profit on all their games, and maybe that's the way that they'll change their ways and fix their career modes. Now, I know that I just got on like a 10-minute rant about EA, but I think that's going to be it for the podcast today. I don't really have anything else that I need to talk about video games. I've said my piece about EA, how I feel about them. I've said what my favorite sports game was. I've said what my favorite action RPG shooting game was. I talked about a lot of stuff on this podcast. And I hope you guys did enjoy. So if you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button on the channel, hit the notification bell, and the like button on all the videos, on the podcast, everything. And I'll see you guys in episode number 3 of the podcast. See you guys next time. See ya!